welcome to this pranayama practice. We're going to be using a couple of things in this pranayama. We're going to be working with our Ujjayi breath, with our belly breath, and also with breath retention, but we'll work into it. And if you're not familiar with breath retention or haven't done it before, just take it easy and work yourself into it. Maybe using a shorter count, which I'll talk about when we get into it. And also working with something called Apana Vayu. And so the Vayus are the winds of the body, and we can actually use our visualization of the mind to help direct the prana and the breath in such a way to create a desired outcome. So today we're using Apana Vayu, which is the downward movement of the energy to help us ground and connect to the root chakra and a little bit more. So this is a great practice to do anytime during the day when you just need a little more grounding and stability. If you're feeling anxious, and also, weirdly enough, the Vayu, the Apana Vayu, can actually change the way you feel in your asana practices, but it can also help with any of the bodily functions of downward movement. So if you have constipation, a woman who is trying to go into labor, this can really help that downward energetic movement, which might sound far-fetched, but it actually is true. So let's go ahead and get started. Start seated. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Let your eyes close and just connect into the belly breath to start. So feeling the belly expand as the diaphragm moves down on your inhale. And then feeling the belly move towards the spine as the diaphragm moves up to facilitate pressing that air out. And try to feel most of the movement in your hand that's on your belly, rather than the hand that's on your chest for this particular practice. And see if you can begin to even out your inhale and your exhale to a count, possibly of 6. And I'll count to 6. If it's too much for you, alter it to your count that feels better for your body. So inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And continue with that count for a few rounds of breath, just feeling into that rhythm of equal breath. And that movement of the belly. And then we're going to add the Ujjayi breath to this. So if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, this is the act of creating a restriction at the back of the throat or the soft palate that slows the breath down and creates that ocean-like sound as you inhale and exhale through the nose. So if you think of the nasal cavity where the air travels as a room, normally we're drawing air through that whole room, but as we create that restriction, you can feel the breath flowing on the floor of the nasal cavity rather than through the whole room. So see if you can feel that by applying this Ujjayi breath. Now as that begins to feel comfortable, we'll add the visualization of Apana Vayu. So on your next inhale, visualize the air traveling through your nose down all the way into your low belly to expand your hand that's on your low belly. And as you exhale, imagine that breath, that energy and prana moving down into the pelvis, through your legs, out your feet, into the earth. Inhaling down to the belly, exhaling through the pelvis, down the legs, into the feet. Inhaling down to the low belly, exhaling down through both sit bones and the tip of the pubic bone into the earth. Continue with that visualization and your Ujjayi breath. Equal breath, inhale, equal breath, exhale down into the earth. Now, if that is starting to feel comfortable, you may want to add the pauses at the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. If you've done this before, you can make the inhale, exhale, and pauses to a count of 6. If you haven't, you might make your pauses only to a count of 2 or 4 till you get more used to the flow of this breath retention. So go ahead and use your count for your inhale. Perhaps it's 6. Use your count for your pause, your retention. Perhaps it's 6. And use your count for your exhale down into the earth. And then pause, perhaps for 6, with that visualization of the energy traveling into the earth and growing your roots. Continue in your own count with your visualization. Now go ahead and finish the round of breath that you are on, including your breath retention at the bottom of this last exhale. And then just return to normal breath with eyes still closed, without counting, without Ujjayi, without the visualization of Apana Vayu. And just take a moment to check in and notice how your body's feeling. If you feel a little more connected to the earth. Notice if your mind is a little bit more settled, a little more stillness in your thoughts. Notice your energy. if you feel calmer and ready to move into your meditation. And whenever you feel so moved, you can let your eyes flutter open. And as I said, move into either your asana practice, your meditation practice. Ideally, it's nice to do this before meditation. And you can also use the concept of Apana Vayu throughout your asana practice on days that you really need the extra grounding. So play with that on a daily basis if you can. There's so many health benefits from the breath retention and the equal breath, as well as the grounding aspect of Apana Vayu. So I look forward to seeing you on the next practice. Namaste, and we'll see you soon.